Okay, this is an example of assignment number one. What I need you to do in assignment number one is I need you to be able to provide a small tutorial. I need to be able to see you in the video, and I need to also see some kind of visual representation of the information that you're trying to teach us about. You will have assigned reading. From that assigned reading, I need you to be able to provide pretty much a SparkNotes version for us in this video. And then also from that reading, you're going to develop those 8 multiple choice or multiple answer questions, and then you'll be done. That's what assignment number one is. When you're making this video, I need you to make sure that you have appropriate clothes on, okay? Don't wear any low-cut shirts. Don't wear any really short-cut shorts. No sports bras. Just don't be radical, pretty much. Don't have anything crude on your shirt. That's inappropriate. You can show up in a t-shirt and shorts if you want to teach it. It doesn't matter. I don't expect it to be super high stressed. I don't need a tie and suit and everything. Just be presentable and teach us the information that you learned. So, what I need you to know is this book has been a board's reference book, and they told me to teach you some information out of it. This book is also over $1,000 because it's no longer in circulation. Do not buy this book. That's ridiculous. Do not spend that amount of money on this book. I will cover a couple of topics from it today, and then also in the menu bar on Blackboard at the bottom, it says printouts. Those things will be helpful for boards, and they are pretty much just an accumulation of highlights that this book might need to teach you. Cool? Other than that, the majority of information about geriatrics, according to the boards, would be from this book, and that's what we're going to be using. So, for my assignment number one, I'm going to use this as the visual format. You can use a blackboard, or a whiteboard, excuse me. You can also use a blackboard, a chalkboard. I don't know if any of you have that, but you can use either of those. You can also use a PowerPoint. Be creative. I want you to just have creative liberty with it. All you need to do is meet the checkpoints that are in assignment number one. If you can meet all those checkpoints, you'll do pretty good. Awesome. All right, here we go. They want you to know that there's different ways to say old. Elderly, old, and very old. Elderly people are 65 to 75 years old. Old people are 67 to 90 years old. And very old people are 90 years old and older. But I don't want you going up to my grandma because she's 94 years old. I don't want you going up to her and be like, hey, Miss Richards, you're very old. Nobody wants to hear that. Keep this in the back of your mind, just in case they refer to somebody in the boards as I had a question. They said, this old person, and they put quotations around old. Then you'll know that they're 76 to 90, and you can reference their age and based upon what's happening in their body. Okay? So, here we go. Next thing, they want you to know the difference between lifespan and life expectancy. Lifespan is talking about the longest lived member of a species. So we're looking at a specific species and we say, what member of that species has lived the longest? And then we record that as the lifespan of a species. That's how long that species can live. The next one is we look at life expectancy and we say, how old is that person currently and what do we expect them to live to based upon their current age? So, lifespan is and then life expectancy is how long is expected. how long someone's expected to live based on their age. It's pretty straightforward. And from that, we'll go on. Senescence is a word that you need to know. It's technically the term for a decline in function that ends in death. Senescence. I'm spelling that out for you that don't know how to spell it, because I don't know how to spell that. That's senescence. It's a technical term for decline in function, decrease in function, ends in death. Cool. Here's a little bit of a zoom in for these notes. Pull it back in. Awesome. Very good. So, as you can see, I'm recording this on my phone. It can be that simple and that easy. I don't need you to create a big old studio in your house and record something like phenomenal. I just need you to get the point across to us and help us learn. All right? From here. The next thing that we're going to do, we're going to switch over to the Merck manual. It phases in pretty good to the information we had from the other book. In the Merck manual, it said old age is, can anybody guess? Yeah, you're right, 65 years old. So 65 years old was determined because Germany had established the first retirement program, and when Germany did that, they said, well, we need an age for the people, and what they did was they said 65 years old. That's how the retirement age is for Germany. And so then that's where we got 65 as old age, based upon Germany's retirement program. It's ridiculous, but that is what it is. We don't always get to make those decisions. All right. There are different ways to assess age. Those are chronologic, biologic, psychologic. If we're looking at chronologic and we're saying it's a way to assess age, we're basing it only on time. If we're looking at biologic, we're looking at the function of their body. If we're looking at psychologic, we're looking at the way that they think, the way that they feel, or how they behave. Good. And those are different ways to assess age. Now, this last part is pretty simple. It's at the end of the chapter, and I'm just going to touch on it real quick. It's about a cycle of how there are different things that can contribute to aging and contribute to the function of a person whenever they get older. So they say, based upon these three things, psychological, sociologic, and financial standing, a person as they age will have a behavior that changes if one of these changes. So for example, a psychological change, well, maybe a person gets older and they hear about everybody falling and they look at those videos of those old people with those necklaces and they fall and they can't get up, right? And your grandparent is sitting on a couch and maybe they haven't fallen yet, but they're getting constant feedback from a lot of different things saying that they're gonna fall. I've seen it before. My grandma said that to me. She's never fallen, but she is afraid of falling. And so what happens is whenever they get afraid, they have a change in thought, and a change dictates a behavior. And so then the behavior for that type of person is either stay stagnant and don't move, like have someone push you around in a wheelchair, or maybe it's always use a handrail, or maybe you're using one of the strollers. There are lots of different behavioral changes that can come from the fear of falling. But what we want to get to is an understanding of when that behavior changes, it's going to change the function of that person's body. And when the function of that person's body changes, it can lead all the way back to a change in the way that they think. Okay? Now that's not only the only part of the cycle that it is. It's not just about thinking, and it's also about how they relate to society and also their financial standing. So if I want you to know there's multiple different ways that the cycle can work. These are the things that are involved in the cycle. I probably won't give you an example, but I do want you to understand that your thoughts dictate your behavior, and your behavior dictates your function, the function of your body, and then the function of your body dictates the way you think. So it's a cycle and it can be broken, but we have to help them out with that. So this is how assignment number 1 can work. For this, it took me 12 minutes. I just looked at the clock and I added a couple different information in there. I need you to do it between 8 and 10 minutes. No shorter than 8, no longer than 10. Cool? I have no doubt that you can do this. I am so very grateful to be able to be working with you this trimester. I love you guys, and if you need any help with anything, feel free to contact me. Bye.